Hello, it's so nice of you to join us. My name is Kate Jacobs, and this is the well-known actor Edward Hayes. Our presentation is called Love Letters. The script by A.R. Gurney is intended to be a reading, and it consists solely of the letters exchanged between Andy and Melissa from 1937, when they were 8 years old, until they are in their mid-50s. We've cut the script down a bit to meet our time constraints, but the story is intact, and I hope you like it as much as we do. Let's begin.
Andrew Makepeace Ladd III accepts with pleasure the kind invitation of Mr. and Mrs. Gilbert Gardner for a birthday party in honor of their daughter Melissa, April 19th, 1937, at 3:30.
Dear Andy, thank you for the birthday present. I have a lot of Oz books, but not The Lost Princess of Oz. What made you give me that one? Sincerely yours, Melissa.
I'm answering your letter about the book. When you came into second grade with that stuck-up nurse, you looked like a lost princess.
I don't believe what you wrote. I think my mother told your mother to get that book. I like the pictures more than the words. Now let's stop writing letters.
I will make my L's taller than my P's.
I will close up my A's and my O's.
I will try to make longer D's. Pass it on.
You're funny.
Will you be my Valentine?
Were you the one that sent me the Valentine saying, will you be my Valentine?
Yes, I sent it.
Then I will be, unless I have to kiss you.
I will not write personal notes in class. I will not write personal notes in class. I will not write personal notes in class. Thank you for sending me that cactus plant stuck in the little donkey. I hate it in the hospital. My throat's sore all the time from where they cut out my tonsils. And they give me lots of ice cream, but they also take my temperature the wrong way.
Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. Why did they send you to another school this year?
Merry Christmas. Oh, they think I should be with all guys.
You made me promise to send you a postcard. This is it.
You're supposed to write personal notes on the back of postcards. Do you like Lake Saranac? Is it fun visiting your grandmother? Are your parents really getting divorced? Can you swim out into the deep part of the lake, or does Miss Hawthorne make you stay in the shallow part where it's all roped off? Is there anybody there my age? I mean boys. Please write answers to all these questions.
No, no. Yes, yes, no.
This is a dumb Halloween card and wouldn't scare anyone, but I'm really writing about dancing school. My parents say I have to go this year, but I don't see why I have to. I can't figure out why they keep sending us away from girls and then telling us we have to be with them. Are you going to be dancing also? Well, just write yes or no since you hate this writing.
Yes.
Dear Mrs. McPhail, I want to apologize to you for my behavior in the back of your car coming home last night from dancing school. I'm sorry you had to pull over to the curb, and I'm sorry we tore Melissa's dress.
Dear Andy, Mommy brought your letter up here to Lake Placid. She thought it was cute. I could tell your father made you write it. You and I both know that the fight in the car was really Charlie's fault, and Charlie never apologized, thank God. That's why I like him, actually. As for you, you shouldn't always do what your parents want, Andy. Even at dancing school, you're always doing just the right thing all the time. That's why I picked Charlie to do the rumba with me that time. He at least hacks around occasionally. I'm enclosing a picture I drew of a dancing bear on a chain. That's you, Andy. Sometimes, I swear.
I know it seems jerky, but I like writing, actually. I like writing compositions in English. I like writing letters. I like writing you. I wanted to write that letter to your mother because I knew you'd see it, so it was like talking to you when you weren't here and when you couldn't interrupt, hint, hint. My father says that everyone should write letters as much as they can. It's a dying art. He says letters are a way of presenting yourself in the best possible light to another person. I think that too.
I think you sound too much like your father. But I'm not going to argue by mail, and anyway, the skiing's too good.
Get well soon. I'm sorry you broke your leg.
I'm really mad at you, Andy. Don't you know that when you're invited to a dinner before a dance, you're supposed to dance with the person giving it at least twice? That's why they give dinner parties, so people get danced with. I noticed you danced with Ginny Waters, but you never danced with me once. I just think it's rude, that's all. Straighten up and fly right, Andy. How do you expect to get anywhere in life if you're rude to women? Nuts to you, Andy, and that goes double on Sundays.
I didn't dance with you because I've got a stretched groin. And if you don't know what that means, well, look it up sometime. I was going to tell you in person, but I got embarrassed. I stretched it playing hockey last week, and the only reason I danced with Ginny Waters is that she takes tiny steps, but you always make me do those big spins, and, well, we could have gotten serious trouble. I tried it out with my mother first, and it hurt like hell. That's why I didn't dance with you.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Guess what? I'm going to a psychiatrist now. My mother says it'll do me a world of good. Don't tell anybody, though. It's supposed to be a big secret.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I have a question. Would you please write the answer by mail? Because sometimes when you call, my mother listens on the telephone, and when she doesn't, my little brother does. Here's the question. Do you talk about sex with a psychiatrist?
I talk about sex all the time. It's terribly expensive, but I think it's worth it.
Well, if I went to a psychiatrist, I'd talk about you. Seriously, I would. I think about you quite often.
Well, sometimes I think you like me because I'm richer than you are. I think you like the pool and the elevator at my grandmother's and Simpson in his butler's coat coming in with ginger ale and cookies on a silver tray. I think you like all that stuff just as much as you like me.
All I know is my mother keeps saying that you'd make a good match. She says if I ever married you, I'd be set for life. But I think it's really just physical attraction. That's why I liked going into the elevator with you at your grandmother's that time. You want to try it again?
Help, let me out of here. They shipped me off to this nunnery. It's the end of the absolute world. We have to wear these sappy midi blouses and learn posture in gym and speak French out loud in class. And if we're caught drinking, even beer, it's wham bam onto the next train home, which is worse. Can you come visit me some Sunday afternoon? We can invite boys to tea from 4 to 6.
Just got your letter. They shipped me off, too. Last-minute decision. Your mother told my mother it would do me good. She said I was a diamond in the rough, and I'll write as soon as I'm smoother.
Dear Diamond, you too? Oh, I give up. Why do they keep pushing us together and then pulling us apart? Now we'll have to write letters, which I hate, but don't let them smooth you out, Andy. I like the rough parts. In fact, sometimes I think you ought to be a little rougher. Love me.
I have to memorize the last 5 lines of Paradise Lost. It reminds me of you and me, sent away from home. It sounds great if you recite it in the bathroom when no one's in the shower or taking a dump. Oh, love, Andy.
Thanks for your letter, which was a little too long. I want to hear more about your feelings. For instance, here are my feelings. This place stinks, but I don't want to go back home because my mother's new husband, Hooper McPhail, stinks, and I haven't heard of another boarding school that doesn't stink, which means that life stinks in general. Those are my feelings for this week. Write soon. Love, me.
One feeling I have almost all the time is that I miss my dog, Porgy. You remember him? I have a picture of him in my bureau right next to my parents. Oh, by the way, could I have a picture of you, too?
Here's a picture of me taken at the Hartford bus station. I was all set to run away and then decided not to. This is all you get until I get my braces off, Christmas vacation. And don't look at my hair, I'm changing it.
Do you get out for Thanksgiving? We don't because of the war.
We do, but I don't. I've been grounded just for smoking one lousy Chesterfield out behind the art studio. So now I have to stay here and eat stale turkey. I was supposed to meet Mummy in New York, but it looks like she can't be there anyway because she's going to Reno to divorce Hooper McPhail. Yippee-yay. He was a jerk and a pill, and he used to bother me in bed, if you must know.
I liked seeing you Christmas vacation, particularly with your braces off. Will you go steady with me?
Oh, I don't believe in going steady. It's against my religion. My mother says you should meet as many boys as you can before you have to settle down and marry one of them. That way you'll make less of a mistake. Didn't work for her, but maybe it'll work for me.
Can we at least go to the movies together during spring vacation?
I don't know, Andy. I like seeing you, but I don't want to go home much anymore. My mother gets drunk a lot, if you must know, and comes into my room all the time and talks endlessly about I don't know what, because she slurs her words. The only really good time I had was when I came over to your house Christmas Eve.
Will you be around this summer? I think I got a summer job caddying, so no more camp, thank God.
I'll be visiting my father in California. I haven't seen him in 4 years. He has a new wife, and I have 2 half-sisters now. It's going to be like going to find a whole new family. Oh, I hope.
You like California? Write me about California. Oh, and how's your second family? Did you get my letters? I checked with your mother and I had the correct address. How come you haven't answered me all summer? Back at school now. Hope everything's okay with you. Did you get my letters out in California, or did you have a wicked stepmother who confiscated them?
I don't want to talk about California, ever. For a while I thought I had 2 families, and now I know I really don't have any. You're very lucky, Andy. You don't know it, but you are. But maybe I'm lucky too in another way. Mrs. Wadsworth, who teaches us art, says I have real talent, both in drawing and painting, and she's going to try me out in pottery too. She says some afternoon she's going to take me just by myself to her studio, and we'll do life drawings of her lover in just a jockstrap. Don't laugh. She says art and sex are sort of the same thing.
Dear Melissa, I have 4 questions, so please concentrate. 1, will you come up to the midwinter dance? 2, if so, can you arrive on the 11:22 Friday night train? 3, does the rector's wife have to write your headmistress telling her where you'll be staying? 4, does the rector's wife also have to write your mother?
The answer is yes, except for my mother, who won't care.
I have to tell you this right off the bat. I'm really goddamn mad at you. And I meet you at the train, I buy you a vanilla milkshake, I bring you out to school in a taxi, I score 2 goals for you during a hockey game the next afternoon, and I buy you the $8 gardenia corsage. I make sure your dance card's filled with the most regular guys in the school, and then what happens? You sneaked off with Bob Bartram and necked with him in the courtroom. I heard that from 2 guys. And then Bob himself brought it up yesterday at breakfast. He says he French kissed you and touched both your breasts. I tried to punch him, but Mr. Inbody restrained me. Well, I'm really sore, Melissa. I consider this a betrayal of everything I hold near and dear, particularly since you would hardly even let me kiss you goodnight after we had cocoa at the rector's. And you know what I'm talking about, too. So don't expect any more letters from me or any telephone calls either during spring vacation. Sincerely yours.
Sorry. Oh, I am. I hate that Bob Bartram. I hated him even when I necked with him. I know you won't believe that, but it's true. You can be attracted to someone you hate. Well, maybe you can't, but I can. So, all right, I necked with him, but he never touched my chest. And if he says he did, he should be strung up by his testicles. You can tell him that at breakfast for me. Anyway, well, I got carried away, Andy. And I'm a stupid bitch, and I'm sorry. I felt so guilty about it that I didn't want to kiss you after the cocoa. And besides, Andy, how do I say this? With you, it's different. You're like a friend to me. You're like a brother. I never had a brother, and I don't have very many friends, so you're both, Andy. You're it. My mother says you're never supposed to say that to any man, but I'm saying it anyway, and it's true. Maybe if I didn't know you so well, maybe if I hadn't grown up with you, or maybe if we hadn't written all these goddamn letters all the time, I could have kissed you the way I kissed Bob Bartram. Oh, but please, let's see each other spring vacation, please. I count on you, Andy. I need you. I think sometimes I'd go stark raving mad if I didn't have you to hold on to, Andy. I really think that sometimes. Much love. Greetings from Palm Beach. Decided to visit my grandmother. Yawn, yawn. I'm getting to be a real whiz at gin rummy and backgammon. I hear you took Gretchen Lascelles to see Quo Vadis and sat in the balcony and put your arm around her and smoked. Naughty, naughty. Back at school, but not for long, that's for sure. Caught nipping gin in the woods with Bubbles Harriman. I have to pack my trunk by tonight and be out tomorrow. Mommy's frantically pulling strings all over the eastern seaboard for another school. Mrs. Wadsworth thinks I should chuck it all and go to Italy and study art. What do you think? Oh, please, write Andy, please. I need your advice. Or are you too busy thinking about Gretchen Lascelles?
To answer your question about Italy, I think you're too young to go. My mother said that she had a roommate once who went to Italy in the summer, and the Italians pinched her all the time on the rear end. Mother says she became thoroughly overstimulated. So I think you should go to another school, graduate, go to college, and maybe after that, when you're more mature, you could go to Italy. Well, that's my advice for what it's worth, which is probably not much the way things are going between you and me.
Here I am at Emma Willard's Academy for Young Lesbians. Help, let me out of here. Are you coming straight home this June because I am, and I want to see you? Or are you still in love with Gretchen Lascelles?
For your information, I'm not taking Gretchen Lascelles out anymore. I brought her home after the Penny's party, and my father caught us on the couch. He told me that he didn't care what kind of girls I took out as long as I didn't bring them home around my mother. Even though my mother was up in bed, still I guess Gretchen Lascelles can be embarrassing to older people.
I hope to see you in June then.
Can't come home in June. Sorry. I have to go and be a counselor at the school camp for poor kids from the urban slums. I'm vice president of my class now, and I'm supposed to set an example of social responsibility all through July. I'll be writing you letters, though, and I hope you'll write me.
I don't want to write letters all the time. I really don't. I want to see you.
Well, you just need more confidence in your letter writing ability. Sometimes you manage to attain a very vivid style.
Won't you please just stop writing about writing and come home and go to the Campbell sports party with me before you go up to that stupid camp, please? I behave better when you're around. In person, please.
Greetings from New Hampshire. This card shows the town we're near, where we sneak in and buy beer. We're cleaning the place up now and putting out the boat docks and caulking the canoes because the kids arrive tomorrow. Oh, gotta go. Right soon.
I miss you. I really wish you had come to the Campbell sports party.
Dear Melissa, Jim McCarthy arrived from home for the second shift here at camp, and he told me all about the Campbell sports party. He said you wore a two-piece bathing suit and ran around goosing girls and pushing boys into the pool. Do you enjoy that sort of crap? He said the other girls were furious at you. Don't you want the respect of other women? Don't you care about anything in the world except hacking around? Don't you feel any obligation to help the poor people, for example? Sometimes I think your big problem is you're so rich that you don't have enough things to do, and so you start playing grab-ass with people. Well, I'm sorry to say these things, but what Jim told me made me slightly disgusted, frankly. I wrote you a letter from New Hampshire. Did you receive it? Are you there, or are you visiting your grandmother, or what? Are you sore at me? I'll bet you're sore at me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm a stuffy bastard sometimes, aren't I? What the hell with you then?
Oh, big tough Andy using four-letter words like hell.
Screw you.
Don't you wish you could?
Everyone else seems to be.
Dear Andrew Makepeace Lad the Turd, I just want you to know you hurt me very much. I just want you to know that. Now let's leave each other alone for a while, all right? All right.
Dear Melissa, my mother wrote me that your grandmother died. Please accept my deepest sympathies.
Thank you for your note about my grandmother. I loved her a lot, even though she could be a little boring.
Congratulations on getting into Briarcliff. I hear it's great.
Thank you for your note about Briarcliff. It's not great, and you know it. But it's close to New York, and I can take the train in and take drawing at the Institute 3 days a week. And in 2 years, if I stick it out, Mommy's promised that I can go live in Florence. I hope you like Yale.
Would you consider coming to the Yale-Dartmouth game Saturday, October 28th?
I'll be there.
Uh-oh, damn. I'm sorry, Melissa. I have to cancel. My parents have decided to visit that weekend, and of course they come first, according to them. My mother says she'd love to have you with us, but my father thinks you can be somewhat distracting.
You and your parents. Let me know when you decide to grow up.
How about the Harvard game, November 16th?
Do you plan to grow up at the Harvard game?
Give me a chance. I might surprise you.
Okay, let's give it a try. You should know that I'm even richer now than when you said I was rich, thanks to poor Granny. I plan to drive up to the front gate of your college in my new red Chrysler convertible and sit there stark naked, beeping the horn and drinking champagne.
Well, here's the schedule. We'll have lunch at Calhoun, then drive out to the game. There's a sea breeze party afterwards and an eggnog brunch the next day. I'll reserve a room for you at the Taft or the Duncan, probably the Taft, since the Duncan is a pretty seedy joint.
No, make it the Duncan. I hear the Taft is loaded with parents, all milling around the lobby, keeping tabs on who goes up in the elevators. I can't wait till the 16th.
The Duncan it is. Hubba hubba, Goodyear rubber.
Dear Andy, this is supposed to be a thank you note for the Yale-Harvard weekend, but I don't feel like writing one, and I think you know why. Love, Melissa.
Dear Melissa, I keep thinking about the weekend. I can't get it out of my mind. It wasn't much good, was it? Oh, I don't mean just the Duncan, I mean the whole thing. We really didn't click, did we? I always had the sense that you were looking over my shoulder, looking for someone else, and, well, ditto with me. As for the Hotel Duncan, I don't know, maybe I had too many sea breezes. Or maybe you did. But what I really think is that there were too many people in that hotel room. Besides you and me, it seemed my mother and my father and your mother sitting on the sidelines watching us like hawks. Anyway, I was a dud. I admit it. I'm sorry. I went to the infirmary on Monday and I talked to the doctor. He said there's things happen like that all the time, particularly when there's a lot of pressure involved. Now, the woman doesn't have to worry about it so much, but the man does. Anyway, it didn't happen with Gretchen LaSalle's. You can write her and ask her if you want.
Well, you know what I think is wrong? These letters. I know you more from letters than I do in person. Maybe that's why I was looking over your shoulder. I was looking for the person who's been in these letters all these years. Or for the person who's not in these letters. I don't know.
Maybe we should just concentrate on dancing together. Then we can still hold each other, move together, and, get very subtly sexy with each other and not have to deliver the goods all the time, if you know what I mean. Oh, come to think of it, maybe that's why they sent us to dancing school in the first place. Maybe that's why dancing was invented.
At least we should stop writing letters for a while. You could start telephoning me, actually. Here's our dorm number, Wilson 12468.
I hate talking to you on the telephone. Yours is in the hall, and ours is right by the college dining room. People are always coming and going and making cracks. Telephone is not writing at all.
I called the telephone company and had a private phone put in my room. Rogers 22403. It's sort of expensive, but at least we can talk.
The reason I'm writing is because your phone's always busy, or else ours is, and I can't afford a private one. Maybe we should just start writing letters again?
No letters, please. Order a telephone, I'll lend you the dough, and we can talk back and forth and hear each other's real voice and get to know each other in life rather than on writing paper, for God's sake.
I'm writing because when I telephone, you hang up on me. One thing about letters, you can't hang up on them.
You can tear letters up, though. Enclosed are the pieces. Send them to Angela Atkinson at Sarah Lawrence.
What the hell's the matter?
I hear you're now writing long letters twice a week to Angela Atkinson. That's what's the matter.
Okay, here goes. The reason I'm writing Angie Atkinson is because I just don't think I can stop writing letters, particularly to girls. As I told you before, in some ways I feel most alive when I'm holed up in some corner writing things down. I love writing my parents because then I become their ideal son. I love writing letters to the newspaper because I like writing notes to my friend. I love writing you. You most of all. I always have. I feel like a true lover when I'm writing you. This letter, which I'm writing with my own hand, with my own pen, comes from me and no one else, and I present myself to you, and you can tear me up, you can throw me out, or keep me and read me today, tomorrow, anytime you want until you die.
Dear Andy, guess what? Right while I was in the middle of reading your letter, Jack Duffield telephoned from Amherst and asked me up for a weekend. Sorry, sweetie. Looks like the telephone wins in the end. Hey, yoo-hoo, look where I am, Florence. Oops, I mean Firenze. I love it.
What are you doing in Florence?
What am I doing? I'm painting, among other things.
Good luck on the painting, but go slow on the other things. Merry Christmas.
Buon Natale.
Happy birthday. Mother wrote that you won an art prize in Perugia. She said it was a big deal, so congratulations.
Congratulations on making Scroll and Key, whatever that is.
Merry Christmas from the land of Oz.
Feliz Navidad from the Costa del Sol.
Happy birthday from the Sterling Library. Anchors aweigh. Here I am looking like Henry Fonda and Mr. Roberts, writing this during the mid-watch on the bridge of a giant attack aircraft carrier churning through the Mediterranean. While you'll be pleased to know that our guns are loaded, our planes in position, and our radar is constantly scanning the skies, all designed solely to protect you against communism. The next time you see me, I want you to salute.
I should have known you'd join the Navy. Now you can once again be with all boys.
Hey, we come into La Spasa in January. Could we meet?
Oh, sorry, I'll be in Zermatt in January.
Oh. Ship will be in the Mediterranean all spring. We'll come into Naples March 3rd, 4th, or 5th. How about standing on the pier and waving us in?
Sorry, meeting Mother in Paris in March.
Merry Christmas from Manila. I've been transferred to our Admiral's staff.
Happy New Year from Aspen.
What are you doing in Aspen?
Going steadily downhill.
Hello from Hong Kong.
Goodbye to San Francisco.
Konnichiwa, shore duty in Japan.
Hey, you. Rumor hath it you're hooked up with some little Jap bar girl out there. Woo, say it isn't so. Mother wrote that you're living with some Japanese geisha girl and your family's all upset. Is that true? Did you get my letter? You're so far away and your Navy address is so peculiar that I'm not sure I'm reaching you. I hear you're seriously involved with a lovely Japanese lady. Would you write me about her?
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I thought you might appreciate this card. It's a print by the 19th century artist Hiroshige. It's called Two Lovers Meeting on a Bridge in the Rain. Love, Andy.
I told my psychiatrist about the great love affair you're having in Japan. I said I felt suddenly terribly jealous. Did you get my last letter? I've just become involved with someone too. His first name is Darwin, and he works on Wall Street, where he believes in the survival of the fittest. I'd love to hear from you. Your mother told my mother that you've decided to marry your Japanese friend and bring her home. Oh no, gasp, sob, say it isn't so. I've decided to marry Darwin. He doesn't know it yet, but he will. Won't you at least wish me luck?
Lieutenant Junior Grade Andrew M. Ladd III regrets that he is unable to accept the kind invitation of...
Dear Andy, thank you for the lovely Japanese bowl. I'll put flowers in it when you come to visit. If you come to visit and if you bring flowers. Maybe you'll just bring your Japanese war bride? I know you'll like Darwin. When he laughs, it's like Pinocchio turning into a donkey. We're living in a carriage house in New Canaan, close to the train station, and I've got a studio all of my own. P.S. Won't you please write me about your big romance? Mother says your parents won't even talk about it anymore.
Dear Melissa, I'm writing to tell you this. Outside of you, and I mean outside of you, this was probably the most important thing that ever happened to me. And I mean was, because it's over. Gone, and I'm coming home, and that's all I ever want to say about it ever again.
Mr. and Mrs. Darwin Cobb announced the birth of their daughter, Francesca.
Many congratulations on the baby.
Harvard Law School yet? Are you getting all stuffy and self-important?
As you know, I've always liked to write letters. I decided I might do better trying to write laws, which, after all, are the letters that civilization writes to itself.
Yes, you are getting all stuffy and self-important. Come and have a drink with us sometime. We're right on the way to New York, and sooner or later, everyone comes to New York.
Read the New York Times account of your show in Stamford. Sounds like you're causing quite a series of seismic shocks up and down the Merritt Parkway.
Don't joke about my work. There's more there than they said in the New York Times. Enclosed, see what other critics said. Notice they think I'm good. I am, too, or could be if I can only focus.
Sorry. I know you're good. I've always known it.
Hey, I hear you made the law review, whatever that is. I assume you review laws. I wish you'd review some of the marriage laws.
Just a quick note. Are you in any trouble?
We're fine. All fine. Everyone's fine.
Oh, congratulations on baby number 2.
Number 2 is a perfect way to describe this particular baby.
Greetings from Washington. I'm here clerking for a Supreme Court justice, which isn't quite as fancy as it sounds.
Dear Andy, I was very sorry to hear about the death of your father. I know he was a great influence on you, and I know you loved him very much. I also know he didn't like me. I'm sure he thought I was bad for you, and I probably was. Still, he was a good, decent man, and I always knew where I stood with him. I wish I'd had a father like that. Please accept my deepest sympathies. Love, Melissa.
Dear Melissa, thank you for your note on my father. I did love him. He was a classy guy, the best of his breed, and even now that he's gone, I can still hear him reminding me of my obligations to my family, my country, and myself in roughly that order. All my life he taught me that those born to privilege have special responsibilities, which I suppose why I came home alone from Japan, and why I chose the law, and why I'll probably enter politics at some level, sometime down the line. Thanks for writing. Love, Andy. I'm going out with a girl named Jane.
Melissa Gardner Cobb regrets that she will be unable to accept the kind invitation of...
Dear Melissa, had to add my 2 cents worth to Jane's thank you note for the wedding present. We'll be moving to New York in the fall, and I've got a job with one of those high-powered law firms. It's in my home state, and I might be a good jumping-off place for something political a little way down the line. Now, we both want you to come to dinner once we've settled in. And don't say you never come to New York. Sooner or later, everyone comes to New York. Well, Merry Christmas from us to you. Where are you these days? Oh, get well soon. Mother wrote that you had some difficulty. I hope it's not serious, and by now that you're feeling fine. Hey, I sent you some flowers a while back. Did you receive them? Are you all right?
Dear Andy, yes, I got your flowers. Yes, I'm fine. No, actually, I'm not fine, and they tell me I've got to stop running around saying I am. I'm here at this posh joint outside Boston drying out. One of my problems is I got slightly too dependent on the Kickapoo Joy Juice. Another is that I slide into these terrible lows. Mommy says I drag everybody down, and I guess she's right. Anyway, the result is that my ex has taken over custody of the girls, and I'm holed up here, talking my head off in psychiatric sessions and turning into probably the biggest bore in the greater Boston area.
Have you thought about doing some painting again? That might help. Did you get my note about taking up art? You were good and you know it. You should keep it up.
I did get your note, and I have taken it up, and it helps, really, thank you. I'm channeling my rage and enlarging my vision, all that. I hope all goes well with you and Jane. Dear Andy, now you're such a hotshot lawyer, could you help me get my children back? Darwin hardly lets me near them, and when he does, they behave as if I had a contagious disease.
Better stay out of this one. Our past connections, conflict of interest.
Oh, Merry Christmas. Hey, you, what's going on? Just when I decide to move to New York, I see you've scampered off to the suburbs.
I find the suburbs generally safer.
Chicken. Paintings and Drawings by Melissa Gardner, Hastings Gallery, March 18th through April 30th. Note, I've gone back to my maiden name. That's a laugh.
Got your announcement for your new show. Good luck. P.S. I'd like to have one of your paintings. We could use a little excitement in our living room walls. Seriously. Well, what would one cost?
Come to the show and find out.
Never made your show. Sorry, things came up.
Greetings from Silver Hill. Slight regression in the liquor department. They say it's in the genes. Lord knows my mother has the problem, and my father too in the end. Anyway, I'm working on it. Darwin's being a real shit about the girls. He's cut down on my visitation rights. So when you get to Washington, I want you to write a special law about vindictive ex-husbands, banishing them to Lower Slobovia forever and ever, amen.
Season's greetings from Senator and Mrs. Andrew M. Ladd and family.
Season's greetings indeed. Is that all you can say to me after 40 years? I'm warning you, Andy, keep that shit up and I swear I'll come down and moon the whole Senate.
Sorry, my staff sent that out. Merry Christmas, old friend. How are you? Where are you these days?
Living in New York, alone for a change. But the big question is, who am I these days? That's the toughie. I keep thinking about that strange old world we grew up in. How did it produce both you and me, a stalwart, upright servant of the people, and a boozed-out, cynical, lascivious old broad? The best and the worst. That's us.
Don't be so tough on yourself. Go back to your art.
I'll try.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and much love.
Much love? Much love? God, Andy, how sexy. I saw you on 60 Minutes. You looked fabulous.
Merry Christmas and love. What are you up to these days?
I'm trying to work with clay. I'm trying to get back some of those old feelings I had back home. I have to find feelings, any feelings, otherwise I'm dead. Come down and help me search. I have a studio down in Soho, and we could, we could at least have dinner and talk about old times, couldn't we, Senator Ladd?
Oh, a quick note on the way to the airport. When you write, put attention Mrs. Walpole on the envelope. She's my private secretary. I've alerted her, and she'll pass your letters directly on to me. Otherwise, the whole office staff seems to get a peek. In haste.
I'm having a show opening January 28th. Won't you come? I'd love to have you see what I've been up to.
Can't make it. I'll be on an official visit to the Philippines most of February, and then a week's spring skiing at Stowe with the boys. Good luck. Hey, how'd the show go? I haven't heard from you. Tell me about the show. I want to hear from you, please.
The show stank. The crowd hated it, the critics hated it, I hated it. It was nostalgic shit. You can't go home again, and you can quote me on that. I'm turning to photography now. Realism. Look the modern world squarely in the face. Oh, Andy, couldn't I see you? You're all I have left.
I'll be in New York next Tuesday the 19th. Have to make a fundraising speech at a dinner. I could stop by your place afterwards.
I'll be there all evening.
Red roses, and you know what that means.
After last night, oh, I want to see you again. Any chance of more fundraisers coming up in the near future?
Sorry I've taken so long to reply. I've been upstate mending a few fences, and then a weekend with Jane mending a few fences there. Darling, I'll have to ask you not to telephone the office. The phones simply aren't secure. At long last, the letter beats out the telephone, my love. And guess what? I'm writing this with the old Parker 51 my grandmother gave me when I went away to school. Now, I know you've never liked writing letters, but now you have to. As for business, I plan to come through New York next Wednesday, and I'll call you from the airport if there's time to stop by.
Sweetheart, I loved seeing you. Come again.
We'll be stopping through a week from next.
Did you ever dream we'd be so good at sex?
Two uptight old wasps going at it like a sales at Brooks Brothers.
I figure 50 years went into last night.
Let's go for 100.
Oh my God, come again soon, or sooner.
I'm already making plans.
I have to go to San Francisco to visit the girls. Couldn't we meet somewhere on the way?
I don't see how we can possibly go public.
Some country inn, some deliciously seedy motel.
I don't see how...
See you for more than just a few hours?
Well, the price we have to pay...
I'm getting so I think about nothing but about how we can...
I'm not sure I can change my whole life so radically.
Well, other politicians have gotten divorced. Rockefeller, Reagan...
Well, Jane and the children, my particular constituency...
You've become the center of my life. If you left, I don't think I could...
Because of the coming elections, I just don't know how I can.
Dear Andy, a reporter called up from the Daily News. What do I do about it?
Nothing.
I suppose you know all this, but there's a crack about us in Newsweek. And Mother heard some talk show where they actually named names. What should I do? Go away? What?
Nothing.
Will I be seeing you again?
Better not for a while.
I meant after the election.
Better lay low for a while.
I missed you terribly.
You better lie low.
I need you, Andy. You're my anchor. Without you, I'm not sure I can...
Hold on now, just hold on.
Where were you? I waited 3 hours hoping you'd at least call.
Oh, please don't telephone.
I haven't seen you in over a month now.
The coming election.
Well, surely you could take time out, too.
If I want to be reelected.
I need you. I need to be with you. I don't know if I can...
But the election.
I haven't heard from you in 6 weeks, Andy. Are you trying to tell me something, Andy? Is this it, Andy? Congratulations on a landslide victory. Love, Melissa.
Could we meet at your place Sunday night?
Oh, thank God.
I mean that we have to talk, Melissa.
Uh-oh. Talk. I'm scared of that. In fact, I dread it.
Dearest Melissa, are you all right? That was a heavy scene last Sunday, but I know I'm right. We've got to go one way or the other, and the other leads nowhere. I feel I have a responsibility to Jane and the boys, and now, after the election, to my constituency. And it wouldn't work with us anyway in the long run, sweetheart. We'd last about a week if we got married. But we can still write letters, darling. We can always do that. Letters are still our strength and our salvation. I count on your letters, darling. I always have. And I hope you will count on mine. Are you there? I keep putting please forward on the envelopes, but who knows? Senator and Mrs. Andrew M. Ladd III and family send you warm holiday greetings and every good wish for the new year.
Andy Ladd, is that you? Blow-dried, custom-tailored, and jogging trim at 55. Hiding behind that lovely wife with her heels together and her hands folded discreetly over her snatch. Is that your new dog, Andy? I see you've graduated to a golden retriever. And are those your sons and heirs? And is that a grandchild nestled in someone's arms? God, Andy, you look like the Holy Family. Season's greetings and happy holidays and even Merry Christmas, Senator Ladd. We who are about to die salute you.
Just reread your last note. What's this we who are about to die stuff? May I see you again? I want to see you again if I may. Dear Mrs. Gardner, I seem to have lost touch with Melissa again. I wonder if you might send me her latest address. Dear Melissa, your mother wrote that you'd return home, and I'm flying right up next Thursday to see you.
No, please, don't. Please stay away. I let myself go. I'm fat. I'm ugly. My hair's horrible. I'm locked in at the funny farm all week, and then Mother gets me on weekends if I'm good. They've put me on all sorts of new drugs, and half the time I don't make sense at all. My girls won't even talk to me on the telephone now. They say I upset them too much. Oh, I've made a mess of things, Andy. I've made a total ghastly mess. I don't like life anymore. I hate it. Sometimes I think that if you and I had just... Oh, let's stay away, Andy, please.
Arriving Saturday morning, will you be at your mother's?
Don't. I don't want to see you. I won't be there. I'll be gone, Andy. I swear. I'll be gone.
Dear Mrs. Gardner, I think the first letter I ever wrote was to you accepting an invitation for Melissa's birthday party. But now I'm writing you again about her death. I want to say a few things on paper that I couldn't say at her funeral. As you may know, Melissa and I managed to keep in touch with each other most of our lives, probably and primarily through letters. Even now, as I write this letter to you, I feel like I'm writing it also to her.
You're in your element now, Andy.
We had a complicated relationship, she and I, all our lives. We went in very different directions. But somehow, over all those years, I think we managed to give something to each other. Melissa expressed all the dangerous and rebellious feelings I never dared admit to.
Now he tells me.
And I like to think that I gave her some sense of balance.
Balance? Oh, hell, I give up. Have it your way, Andy. Balance.
Most of the things I did in life, I did with her partly in mind. And if I said or did an inauthentic thing, I could almost hear her groaning over my shoulder. But now she's gone. I really don't know how I'll get along without her.
You'll survive, Andy.
I have a wonderful wife, fine children, and a place in the world I feel proud of. But the death of Melissa suddenly leaves a huge gap in my life.
Oh, now, Andy.
The thought of never seeing her again or being able to write her, to connect to her, to get some signal back from her, fills me with an emptiness that's hard to describe.
Oh, now, Andy, stop.
I don't think there are many men in this world who have had the benefit of such a friendship with such a woman. But it was more than friendship, too. I know now that I loved her. I loved her even from the day I'd met her, when she walked into second grade, looking like the lost princess of Oz.
Oh, Andy, please. I can't bear it.
You know, I don't think I've ever loved anyone the way I loved her. And I know I never will again. She was at the heart of my life, and I already miss her desperately. Well, I just wanted to say this to you and to her. Sincerely, Andy Ladd.
Thank you, Andy.